Hi everyone, welcome to Gender Down Under. If you haven't seen our videos before, my name is Taylor and I am a non-binary person, and this is Erica and she is a trans woman. So yeah, we're just going to get straight into it.
Let's do it.
Say something then.
You want me to say something? Hi, welcome to episode 5, I think, of Gender Down Under. Our last episode was Taylor's transition video, I believe. So I hope you found that interesting. We actually have had one question
Really?
since our last joint video, which I
Okay.
think was our first video. So not that surprising.
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember what the question was, I just need to get it. And I'll be right back.
Recording.
Here we go.
Okay.
Okay, so we did get a question.
Okay.
The question is, for people who land on non-binary or gender non-conformity, how does the language of transition relate to their experience? I think this is
Okay.
more for you than for me.
That's a good question. I guess in my experience, I was transitioning from appearing female, being happy to be known as a female, into the non-binary, but I do appear masculine, and I would really like it if one day femininity and masculinity could be separated from gender, so it's not actually you have to be a male to be masculine. And that's why I identify as trans masculine, because that's the way I appear, and I was born a female, so I'm trans masc. But that doesn't mean that I'm a man. Yeah, it's kind of a hard one to put into words.
Do you feel like non-binary or gender non-conforming, when you have been presenting as a particular gender, do you consider that a transition?
I think so.
So do I. I was just wondering.
Yeah, I think so. I think transition can apply to anyone within the community that is going from one perceived kind of thing into another, whether that's to do with just their gender or the way that they present. But yeah, so there's a lot of things. I guess transitioning as a gender non-conforming person or a non-binary person is still similar to a person that's transitioning in, like Erica has transitioned into being a woman. You change your pronouns, you probably change the way you dress, change the way you act. I don't know, it's much of a muchness. I think it's quite similar. It just depends on which scale you're going, whether you're going the more feminine side or the more masculine side, or maybe you are going for androgyny, which is supposedly, I find it a little bit hard to understand exactly what that is, but yeah, whether you're going for something more in the middle.
Do you feel like there is a lack of vocabulary in the English language to cover your experience and to cover, who you are? Or do you think, so transgender people, we've been very much out in the open for a very long time, whether we've been accepted or not.
Yeah.
So I think that there's been a lot of language evolved around that. Now we've thrown this extra level of complexity, which is actually that gender is just like, it could be anywhere on the scale of that to that, whatever it happens to be. I think that I feel like the English language is still trying to catch up with just how complex gender can be. And sexuality, actually.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of words, but they don't seem to be in regular circulation.
I think the problem is they're not in regular circulation outside our community, and because the queer community is such a small percentage of the whole population, that it's just not, unless you have friends that are within the community, you're probably not exposed. Like at work, I've definitely exposed my work friends and my colleagues to a lot more things within my life that they wouldn't be exposed to, because I'm sure I'm one of the only I guess people that have transitioned, people who go by pronouns other than he, him, she, her. And I mean, I know that I'm the only openly gay person at work as well. So yeah, I find that people don't know. It's not that it's because they don't want to know or they don't try to understand, it's just the exposure is very limited. But I think social media is a really good way to be able to spread that.
It's a great way to spread a whole bunch of really bad stuff too.
Yeah, it can be a bit of a double-edged sword kind of with sharing good things and being able and having a platform to share things that are not so good and not positive. But I guess also, in terms of non-binary, I'm in a few groups on Facebook, and there are actually a lot of people that use the term non-binary to describe that they go between the two genders, that they actually feel like a female one day and a male, you know, whichever next day.
But they choose non-binary over gender fluid?
Yeah, like I think that it's a lot of the time...
They don't feel the need to actually...
Yeah, they just... Yeah, I think, and I actually struggle a little bit with that because I've chosen that non-binary is my gender, and so I struggle a little bit with it because I don't want to be known as either, and so I found a lot more people use non-binary as an umbrella term for being on a spectrum rather than being nowhere on a spectrum. So yeah, that's why I would really like it if you know, presentations were separated from gender and that people could be masculine or feminine without it having to associate with a gender.
Or just do away with the whole concept of masculine and feminine.
Yeah,
just wear what they want.
Be whoever you are, and that doesn't mean that you are now a certain gender.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a good question because I feel like possibly gender non-conforming and non-binary people are, as you said, not as common, I guess, or...
and just not as represented in our language.
Yeah, so
forms.
There's someone really cool who I recently went to a non-binary talk for Mardi Gras week here in Sydney, and there was a few really great speakers who were non-binary, and we got to watch them discuss what non-binary is to them and how they got there and why they think that, well, how, I guess what we're talking about, how represented it is, and there was someone there called Nevo. I'll link them in the description, and they're someone that I've been following, and yeah, I found them a really good representation of a non-binary person as well. And there's plenty out there. I actually didn't realise there were so many people that identified that way until I started looking into it, and until I started identifying as that myself. I did feel like I was a little bit alone there for a while, but there's so many people out there I just didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, we have a slight problem. If everyone could just hold for just a momo, we'll be right back.
Perfect.
We're sorry that we were on a slight angle.
I mean, in our defence, we don't go straight, so neither should our camera.
That's a good point. Actually, there was something that I wanted to ask you about when we were talking about the language of gender. And that is, do you feel like there are not enough words to express sexuality now that people are accepting that there are not just males and females? So you've said in previous videos that you consider yourself to be gay, which is cool, and I consider myself to be lesbian, but I believe I put forward the argument that
I'm not gay because...
that you're not gay because if you were a gay non-binary person that you could only be attracted to other non-binary people if you were gay.
Yes.
Which is obviously I don't believe that. Oh, shit. We were never going to swear in these videos. Yeah.
But yeah, you were basically saying that the language wasn't appropriate for the situation.
I was saying that it could be argued that that was the case.
Yeah, it could be argued. Like people, so...
I think if you identify as gay, then great.
Yeah.
Then as far as I'm concerned, you're gay. But I feel like there are probably a lot of people out there where the words that we currently have, and maybe I just don't know what the words are, but
I feel like there's a lot more words out there for sexualities that describe the people that you're attracted to, but not necessarily for non-binary people. It's for cis people.
So take the term lesbian, for instance.
Yes.
Lesbian suggests that you are a female, and that you're attracted to females. So it does encompass both who you're attracted to as well as what your gender is.
Right, yes.
You see what I mean?
Whereas things like demi-romantic or demisexual,
yeah,
I know that that is all-encompassing. You could be female or male, and use that as a term for your sexuality. And basically it just means that you need to have a strong connection with someone to want to sleep with them or to be attracted to them or to it has to be a lot stronger. So that's not necessarily gendered, but lesbian's gendered, and I use gay, but I don't know, is gay becoming more of the accepted word that's not gendered? Like, obviously gay used to refer to gay men a lot of the time, and obviously that's why there's lesbian, to reference the fact that, you know, it's separate from gay men. Do you think that gay is still a gender term? Or do you...
I think it's a lot less gendered, and I don't know how males who have always identified as gay feel about our appropriation of their word.
Yeah. A lot of people I know use queer as a sexuality, as a just kind of an all-encompassing term, but it doesn't necessarily describe sexuality or gender.
If there are any gay men watching this video, would love to hear your thoughts on how gay is used a lot more throughout the gender spectrum than just for males attracted to males.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested in hearing your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I would too, obviously, as I use that term. And I guess the reason that I don't use lesbian is because I don't identify as a female. And there was there's kind of nowhere else for me to go.
Just call yourself homo.
But still, homosexual means that you like the same gender.
Oh yeah, then we get back to that whole you can only be attracted to non-binary people.
And that is not true, because I have a partner at the moment and she identifies as a cis woman, so...
You have a partner, do you?
Oh yeah, so that happened in my break.
That's nice.
Yeah, I met someone after my surgery.
How do they identify?
That's still something that I think she's still coming to terms with. She's not really sure how to word it. I think she goes with queer.
But cisgender woman?
Cisgendered woman. And queer, yeah. Okay. She's dated men, women. It's kind of...
I dated a man once.
There's not many terms to kind of... Yeah, I don't know. I think the fact that we label ourselves is what puts us into the situation where we're having to create more labels to fit all the different kinds of people and all of their experiences. So if we just got rid of labels altogether, then we'd probably be a lot easier. It would probably be a lot easier to just not describe.
That's also another massive double-edged sword.
Yeah. Would you...
let's say you'd been to a party and afterwards you're talking to someone and wanted to talk about a particular person that you talked to at the party, and you going, so it was a person. Oh yeah, I know that one. The person.
You could say the person with the red hair, the person with the long...
no. If you're identifying red hair, that's also...
The person with the long brown hair?
It's labelling them.
Had the nice...
That's labelling their hair as long and brown.
No, I think that's okay.
Do you think I'm just being a bit facetious now?
I don't know. Maybe other people out there could let us know how far you think is too far, which I think is Erica's area that you are encroaching on.
Maybe.
Alright, so thanks for watching today's video, and we hope that you've enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, feel free to either comment on our social media pages or send us an email or comment on our videos. We'll put our email address and our Instagram in the link below. We'll link it in the description below. And
I'm just going to make it pop
there.
up underneath my finger here.
Okay.
Just there. That address. Or that Instagram page.
So yeah, thanks for watching Gender Down Under, and we will hopefully be with you again soon. Bye!
Bye!